Okay, so I was actually gonna wait and do this later, but I decided to just do it now. I'm just a little bored sitting here at work, and I don't have, I guess, too much prepared. Usually, I'll have a few notes, and I do have a few, but yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do my Uncharted 3 review. So now, before I go any further, I will say this won't be spoiler free. There's gonna be spoilers all up in this. So yeah, if you haven't played the game, I suggest you hit that little X right now if you don't want it to be spoiled for you, because I'm about to go on with all different parts of the game. Yeah, there will be spoilers. So go ahead. I'll wait a second. Long enough. Alright, so let me get started. I guess before I get started, actually, again, I'm gonna say I've read a lot of the negative reviews, read positive reviews. I've watched reviews here on YouTube from all the popular gaming channels and the big people or whatever. And like I've seen a lot of people saying that Uncharted 3 is not better than Uncharted 2. I guess I'm gonna be that person who explains to everyone why Uncharted 3 is better than Uncharted 2, because it is a better game. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and get into this. I'm going to start with the physics. Now, Uncharted 2's physics, unbelievable. We all played the falling apart building with the helicopter blows out the side and everything's falling, and you got to jump across. Yeah, all that. We all played it. We all saw it. It was mind blowing. Uncharted 3 takes that and goes like 10 steps forward. Okay? There's three scenes that come to mind when you think about the physics in Uncharted 3. Three scenes, or three sequences, whatever, three levels, chapters, whatever you want to call them. The first that I think about is the burning chateau. Now, we've all seen burning buildings in games before. It's nothing. Burning buildings themselves are nothing new. Typically, when you see a burning building, you got fire around you. It might hurt you if you touch it. You might die if you touch it, start losing health, whatever. But there has never been, to my memory, even recent memory, a game that does a burning building the same way that Uncharted 3 did the chateau. It took that the same sort of physics that were in the building from Uncharted 2 that was falling apart, added fire to it, and just took it to a whole new level. Like when you're in the chateau, you have certain things that are falling at certain times because this area is burning more than another area. You have the floor that completely falls out because it gets burned. You have objects that are falling through because they're on the floor that gets burned. Like you have all these different things. You have new pathways that open up because something else got burned, or you have pathways that close up because something got burned. Like you have all these different things, and it's Drake or Nate and Sully, and they're trying to find a way out. You got enemies still firing at you. Like, it's an unbelievable scene, unbelievable, and it tops the building scene. Just that scene in itself tops the building scene from Uncharted 2. Just that scene alone. And that's not even the best example in this game of it being better than Uncharted 2. Then you have, which these two, I don't know which one was better than the other, honestly. I don't know which one was better. You have the sinking ship scene and the airplane scene. In the sinking ship scene, we have Nate throws a grenade, blows a hole in the wall. Fucking ship flips over onto his side, and now he has to escape from the ship. That whole sequence was so unbelievable. Actually playing through it, not just watching it, actually playing through it. The ship on its side, you have, you're next trying to navigate through. You go into an elevator sideways. You have just all these different things, and you can really see the level of detail in the ship. Like it's that sinking scene was like Titanic fucking sinking scene big. Like if you, it was unbelievable. And then the scene where Ramses comes back out at you, and you see the huge glass wall on the side, and you can actually see the ocean moving. Everything outside is still in motion. Just because you're inside the ship, the outside hasn't just suddenly frozen. It's as much a part of this. It's as much as part of the scene, and as much as part of that sequence in the game as everything inside the ship. Like, it was, again, I can't think of a better word. Unbelievable, that scene. So as how people can say that Uncharted 2 was better, no. And again, then you have the airplane scene, which I can't even think of another game that did a crane, a plane crashing scene even remotely close to this, where you have objects flying through the air, you have characters flying through the air, you have objects sliding literally back and forth because the plane is doing this. You have just so much going on the screen all at once. It looks amazing the entire time through, and it kind of like when I was watching the reviews, other people were saying, "Oh, Uncharted 2 is still better." It's just like, what game are you playing? You certainly must not have been playing the same Uncharted 3 that I was playing, because this game the set pieces are tenfold better than the set pieces in Uncharted 2, and I loved Uncharted 2. The train crash scene and the falling building, those were amazing, but they just don't come close to these sequences in Uncharted 3. They just don't. Like, it just doesn't. But that's not the only reason why it's better. You have the characters. The characters are I thought they were so fleshed out in this game. Now, don't get me wrong. I wanted more. I wanted to know more about Cutter. I wanted to see more of him in the game. I understood why he left. Nigga broke his leg. He has no reason to still be following Drake around. But yeah, like there was little things like that. And like Talbot, I wanted to know a little bit more about his past. But I got the idea that Naughty Dog wanted his character to be a bit of a mystery. So them leaving out and not completely fleshing out his character was understandable. But the fact that the game starts off letting everyone know what, at least me as a fan of Uncharted, what I wanted to know since the very beginning. Well, why the hell are Nate and Sully friends to begin with? Sully's an old ass dude. Nate's, still pretty young, good looking guy. Why the hell are they even friends? Where did they meet? What happened? The game basically kicks off with giving you that information and fleshing out their relationship, their history with one another. It delves into Nate's own personal history, which is something else as a fan, that I wanted to see, where, talk just a little bit about his childhood and his parents and what happened to him. And just like, when that scene starts and we start playing as Nate as a kid or as a teenager, whatever, like I was hooked. I was hooked from the bar fight scene. But that point I was like, all right, they're doing exactly what I want, because I want to know more about Drake or Nate. I want to know more about Sully. I want to know more about these iconic characters that we haven't exactly delved into their history. They explain more about Elena and Nathan's relationship and what happened between them, between this game and Uncharted 2, and just all these things, like just how fleshed out the characters was so far above Uncharted 2. And then you have Marlowe, the lead villain, which she made more sense than any lead villain in the Uncharted history could make sense. She had a reason to be after Nate. She wanted the ring from 25 years ago. She had a reason to hate Sully. He betrayed her. Like, it wasn't, he actually betrayed her. So like, she had a reason to hate them personally and actually have, her goal as the lead villain. She had a reason. Now, the way she died was a little but again, what are they gonna? Nathan Drake's gonna fight her. Sully's gonna fight her. You know, she's an old ass woman. They're not gonna fist fight Marlo. You know, either she died or she escaped. So it was like, which way did Naughty Dog want to go? Obviously, they wanted her to die, and she won't be back. At least, unless some crazy shit happens, she won't be back. So yeah, that's just the characters were phenomenal to me. Just the way that Naughty Dog finally gave us more insight into these characters was phenomenal. Now, again, this sort of goes back to the whole character thing, but the story was better than Uncharted 2. The story was better. It was, I guess, as realistic as an Uncharted story can be. Where, you know, one thing I didn't like about Uncharted 2 was Lazarevich. He was cliche, and the final boss fight with him just felt tacked on and just like not necessary. It didn't need to be drawn out for so long with me just running in circles trying to fight him, and you know, trying to just stupid. No, the final boss fight in this, which again people seem to like down talking, but it was real. You know, it was the final moment where you finally got to get your hands on Talbot and whoop his ass. Like, I wanted to whoop his ass from the first chase scene. You know, I was hoping that we would whoop his ass then. So it's like, finally, after all this time, we finally get our hands on Talbot. And it didn't feel anticlimactic. It felt like the right thing. You have, again, you're fighting where there's all this stuff going on around you. You got pillars falling and you're falling and just like all this stuff, and you're in the middle of a fight with a guy with a knife. Like, it did not feel anticlimactic at all. It was the right way for Naughty Dog to do it. Finish things off with Talbot, because again, there was obvious something going on with him and Marlo, or he felt a certain way about Marlo because he remained, you know, to try and get revenge. So it just felt like the right thing to have him there to finish things off. You know, they weren't random enemies. It wasn't a random boss fight, and it wasn't annoying. Which the Lazarevich fight was not hard. It was just annoying. Like, Naughty Dog did it right. They did this game justice. Did it right. And to me, these are the reasons why Uncharted 3 is better than Uncharted 2. Better set pieces. As good as the set pieces were in Uncharted 2. They're better now. Better, more fleshed out characters. Better story. More realistic enemies. More realistic fight. I didn't have to kill 5,000 people just to get to the end of the game. You know, like, that's not realistic. I guess, again, not as realistic as Uncharted should be. So, I don't know. This is already, 13 minutes? So I guess I'm going to end it now. But Uncharted 3 is a 10 out of 10. Plain and simple. Best game of this generation. Hands down. Game of the year, hands down. This is not coming, I don't mean to come off as a fanboy, but the game was just that good. I didn't even get into the multiplayer, which I thought is vastly improved from the Subway beta. You know, it's just head and shoulders better. Yeah. This game, just from the single player aspect, is 10 times better than Uncharted 2. The multiplayer is, despite any issues that people have, is 10 times better than Uncharted 2. And it's only going to get better. Uncharted 3 is a 10 out of 10. You can't take away from this game. If you haven't played it, play it. I don't care if you gotta go buy a PS3 just to play this game. Do yourself a favor and play this game. Uncharted 3 is a 10 out of 10. Best game of this generation. Easily. By a long shot. So yeah, go play the game of the year, because it is Uncharted 3.